Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Chatting with Chargle. I'm deciding whether or not I want this microphone or my phone microphone. I'm deciding whether or not I want to title this Chatting with Chargle and then the title, or just do the title. Legitimately, let me know in the comments down below if you like the title with Chatting with Chargle or no title, because I feel like at this point, this is the only type of video I enjoy making, so... But honestly... I don't know. We'll talk about this later because for now we really need to talk about Grease Live, and I have work in under an hour. That's why I'm horizontal today. That and sitting like that in the last video just hurts my back. So now I'm horizontal. Did I say vertical? I'm horizontal now. And we're going to review Grease Live. I have work in less than an hour. Okay, so we are in a time crunch. So last time when I did Cars, I took notes, yes, but not as many notes as I did while watching Grease Live. Grease Live, I watched it with my roommate. She so lovingly watched it with me because I've been having a horrible couple of days. But anyway, I think this was her first time watching it, and she said that she has a vivid memory of her watching Grease, the regular movie, for the first time. And I thought about it, and I really don't have a memory of watching Grease for the first time. But I do have a Grease Live memory. Sorry, I'm not going to curse. This podcast is for... Not podcast. Whoop! This video is for Lois and Ginny. Because I know how much they love these videos. So I tried to do one. I had a different one planned. Not planned. I had a different one percolating. But I decided to dedicate this one to Lois and Ginny. Because they enjoy musicals. I think. I mean, who doesn't? Anyway. So in honor of Lois especially, I'm going to try not to curse this video. For every curse word that I use, I won't do anything. Okay, Grease Live. So the thing with NBC Live musicals, they are hit or miss. I'm like hyped up on adrenaline, and I don't know, the fact that I have to go into work later is scrambling my brain. And that's why I really wanted to get out all these words right now. Because, okay, we're going to have a little bit of a tangent. Yeah, it's tangent time. So as I mentioned earlier, I've been having a very bad couple of days. And I feel like whenever I'm doing a bad time mentally, I just do not speak. Because, I don't know why, because I just stop speaking. I think it's because speaking is something I enjoy. This is so awful. I love to yap, and I love to have fun and tell jokes, and I know that every time I will open my mouth, it will resort in some kind of fun. So in order to punish myself, I make myself not have fun, and in order to do that, I can't speak. At least that's a part of it. The part that I'm willing to dissect right now, that's what it is. So I've just not been talking all day. And then I had the last rehearsal of the day, and one of my friends, just turned my day around, and it was just so great. So I am so glad I don't have to go into work being a moping, crying mess, but I think also I have to get some of this pent-up energy I've had up in all day, so I have the right amount of mind energy for work. Because if I'm daydreaming throughout my shift, it either goes really fast or really slow, and I can't take that chance today. I need the proper amount of daydream energy for my shift. And right now I have too much. And to rectify that, I'm recording this. Get it, got it, good. So, the thing with NBC Live musicals is they are hit or miss. I've seen so many that are so bad. But then there are some that just it's like lightning in a bottle. I don't know. Grease Live was one of them. I will say A Christmas Story, I remember that being very good because they hired actual Broadway actors for that. Jesus Christ Superstar, I don't have any vivid memory of. I have absolutely no memory of Jesus Christ Superstar, so I think I need to rewatch it. I do remember watching Rent Live, and I remember everyone screaming and crying about it, saying it was awful. I have never seen Rent before that, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. But as a casual musical enthusiast, I remember enjoying it. Maybe it doesn't do the original justice, maybe it was, stupid or something, but I remember enjoying it, kind of. And I know it was, the rehearsal that aired, so even for that, too, I was enjoying it. I'm trying to think of what other movie music. Did they do Waitress? No, they didn't. No, I'm Did I dream that, or was that true? I don't know. This is going to bother me. I would love to see... Ooh, this is a good question. I haven't even thought about this. What musical would I want to see alive? They did Hairspray live. That housed the boots down. That ate Gorgina. I'm just using so many Swiftologist... so much of his lingo. It's just too good. Because I've just been devouring Swiftologist videos. Anyway, they did Hairspray live. What would I like to see? Selfishly, I want Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, because I think it'd be good. They picked the wrong biblical Andrew Lloyd Webber. Joseph would have freaking slayed, because what a ball day you could have. A ball day? What a ball. Just ball. What a ball you could have from casting Joseph and his brothers. That would be insane. I'm going to make a Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat dream cast. Thank you very much. But there was something about Grease Live that really made me happy upon watching it for the first time. And I haven't seen it in a very long time. I feel like nowadays I usually reach for the original Grease if I'm like want to watch Grease, but I haven't seen the original Grease, which may be why I enjoyed watching Grease live this past time. It was just so freaking good. I can't get over it. It was good. I just also really don't like this lighting, and I don't like this angle, but I don't think now is the time to fix it. Like, I've dug this hole. Like, what is over here? You cannot even see my hand. Oh, well. I've made my bed, and now I have to lie in it, but I didn't make my bed this morning. So, there's that. Checkmate. Anyway, I need to not say every thought that comes into my brain, but I'm going to now. I have a problem of raising my eyebrows all the time. I need to find a good way to hold this. This will work. I need to find a way of not raising my eyebrows all the time. And my ballet teacher has told me this. I've gotten it a couple of times. My voice teacher said sometimes if you lift your eyebrows, it makes you think like you can hit the note better. And then you, by proxy, hit the note better. And I think that's what I'm trying to do. But also, I think I need to stop saying also. I think I have a droopy eyelid, if you will. Like, this is my normal. And I feel like I'm raising my eyebrows a little bit, but I'm not, like, wrinkling my forehead. I think that's more what the vibe should be. Anyway. But I raise my eyebrows like this a lot when I dance. But I think it's just my body trying to be able to see a little bit. Whatever. We have to go back to discussing Grease Live. I don't even know how I got there. Stop me next time this happens. Anyway, first of all, I'm trying to decide if I want to reveal the cast as they appear in the movie. I'm going to do that. So we open. Who's Danny Zuko? Aaron Tveit. Now, Aaron Tveit, I don't know how to say his name, so that's how I'm going to say his name. Tveit? But he Tveit, so I'm going to say Aaron Tveit. Because he ate it all of it. No crumbs, ate the plate. So, Danny Zuko, Aaron Tveit. Best casting choice that could have ever happened. First of all, I don't think he has that much mainstream, like, presence. I think he's a little bit of a cult classic, if you will. What was he in? He was in Gossip Girl. He plays Nate Archibald's cousin. He was in Les Mis. He was in something else important, I think. Not that things are more important than the others just because they're popular. But I honestly do not know how much, like, a mainstream appeal Aaron Tveit has, because I am a Broadway kid. But he was such a great choice. And let me tell you, there are moments in this musical when Aaron is tethering his way away. Like, he is hitting that. And I think John Travolta as Danny Zuko, we'll get more into this later. Like, I just don't believe that behind all of it, he's a nice guy. I just don't. Aaron, however, I believe it. And I don't know what that says about me specifically. Anyway, we open, and I don't even know what Sandy's name is, but I do not enjoy her in this. Sometimes, very rarely, she has moments. But usually I do not enjoy her. And they are, I don't know, I feel like it was such a good opening because they're very obviously in front of like a green screen. And something about that I really enjoy, or like a painted set. They're not actually on a beach. And I think, I don't know why, but it puts you in the correct amount of suspension of disbelief for this, I think. Because first of all, it sets the bar a little low for what you're expecting, because it's like, oh, that looks like crap. So you're like, oh, this might be crap. So then it has the opportunity to surprise you. That's my motto, baby, ladies and gentlemen. But, so we have that little opening with Danny and Sandy, and all fine and good. But then Jessie freaking J kicks down the door, and she starts screaming and belting my ears out. Suddenly she's in my house, Jessie J. This is a Walmart. You do not need to be serving this hard. The fit is fire. The haircut is fire. The singing is just phenomenal. I mean, this was the perfect choice for the opening. Because I feel like at this point in time, let me look up when it came out. Because I wrote later about how one of the casting choices really dates this. Let's see. When did Grease Live come out? I should have known this in the first place. 2016. 2016? I would have wagered a 2014. 2006. I guess that makes sense. Anyway. What was I talking about? Jessie J. What did I wrote down? Guys, this is not okay. What did I write down? Jessie J. Grease slayed the house boots down. Yep. And then they have this, like, not intermission, this interlude of the Grease theme song, where, oh my goodness, I need to get back on my train of thought. Okay, they have this interlude in the Grease theme song opening number, where there's the principal on the stairs and Boys to Men, who end up being the angels in, what's it called? Beauty School Dropout. And that absolutely killed. I feel like that was so necessary, because Jessie J, it was like, the vibe of the original, but it was also Jessie J-ified. It was popified. It was queen of pop, ified. I can't think of another word. Anyway, so I feel like that doo-wop kind of also brought us back into what we should expect, because it's not going to slay the house boots down the whole time with this pop nonsense. We're going to get down to the nitty-gritty in the doo-wops. But also the way that this opening was structured, I love the directing. First of all, I'll get into this later, but I just love the directing and the camera work in this live musical. The whole time Jessie J is like running around set and like visiting people's dressing rooms and stuff like that, and I think it's a beautiful way to break the fourth wall, because I don't know, the hype for this movie, we were hyped about the cast members, and it was, I don't know, I think leading up there were like interviews about how it's all going to come together. So I think it was just a beautiful fourth wall break, and it lets us be a part of Grease Live, because we have been waiting for it just as much as the actors. But anyway, I was talking about something, I don't really care. So we open, and let me refer back to my notes. The first thing that I wrote down was Ethan Slater would be a fun Eugene. I think that he would diverge enough from this actor to make it interesting, because I liked this actor, but I feel like Ethan Slater, SpongeBob, could do a really good job with him. And so this goes back to what I was saying about the camera work. I feel like a format like this combines the best elements of live theater, acting for screen, and acting for TV in front of a live audience, like comedy in front of a live audience. And I think that there's so many nuanced things that you can miss out on when you're so far away in a theater. You kind of have to make things bigger and more exaggerated, but when you're acting for screen, the camera's right here, so they can see like a shift in your eye contact with another person. They can see everything. They can see every single acting choice you want to make. And I feel like they picked really good actors for this. Let's go through some of the cast, shall we? We know Aaron Tveit, Sandy, whatever her name is. Vanessa Hudgens is Rizzo. This was so good. We'll get into it more deep later, but she was such a good Rizzo. Anyway, Carlos from Big Time Rush is Kaneki. I liked this one, but not a lot. I liked him, but I think when you're comparing how much I love him to how much I love some of the other casting choices, it's gonna be intense. It's gonna not win every time. Then Jordan Fisher, here to steal everyone's jobs, Jordan Fisher. He is one of the T-Birds. And then random fourth guy that I have no idea his name, but I really enjoyed him. I think there's some moments. Like, he has some great comedic timing moments. He's the first T-Bird to have an exchange with the principal, which I think is good. So, like, it establishes both his character and the principal's character. And this is where I had the thought of this is, like, combining screen acting with... This is combining the best parts of acting, point blank period. Because it still has that musical and live feel. It's kind of giving Friends how... Like, it's not really made to be played live, but yes, it is. You know? And the live audience was very nice to have. And I liked how they did the audience. And it was a rain show, so, like, they had stuff they were supposed to do outside, but they had to do inside. But they handled it flawlessly. However they rehearsed that, kudos to them. But anyway, I think that's something that we kind of lost in Jesus Christ Superstar. But Jesus Christ Superstar was not the type of musical you're going to have this big complicated set for. Grease was a great choice. Hairspray was a great choice. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat is probably not a great choice, if I'm being honest about that. Waitress is a great choice. I need to know if they actually did that or not, if I just made that up in my head. But anyway, so we have this first meeting between the pink... I'm not going to go through the plot at all. You guys should know the plot, so I'm just going to go through what I want to go through. And if you want to watch... This is an incentive to watch the original Grease and Grease Live. Anyway. So we have the first meeting between the T-Birds and the Pink Ladies. And immediately we have more lore. The way that Rizzo kind of takes charge of the conversation, she's the leader. And she's the bad girl. She's the big girl on campus. But I feel like all the Pink Ladies establish your character so quickly in this scene. And the boys don't really get an opportunity to do that. But the Pink Ladies do. What does that have to say about the actresses involved in the Pink Ladies? First of all, tag yourself. Which Pink Lady are you? I think I'm a Jan Rising. A Jane? No. Jane, Marty, Frenchie. Yeah. I'm Jane Rising. I'm a Marty Moon? No. No. I'm like a Frenchie. No, I'm just saying nonsense right now. I feel like I'm a Rizzo Venus. I'm a Rizzo... I'm trying to decide between Sun and Moon. I'd say I'm a Rizzo Moon because I'm a Leo Moon. That makes sense. I'm a Rizzo Moon and a Frenchie. I'm a Frenchie Rising and a Jane Sun. Anyway, why did I do that? We have the first meeting and Rizzo has a moment with Kaneki at the end. First of all, Rizzo and Kaneki are standing a lot closer to each other than the rest of them, so we already know what's about to go down here. And Vanessa Hudgens and Carlos from Big Time Rush are about to have the best chemistry I've ever seen on screen. That's a lie. They're just going to have really great chemistry with each other. And why isn't my computer charging? This sucks. I'm not going to finish this before work starts, too. So this might have to be a play in 2 acts. Or maybe I'll just speed up the ending. Because I have infinitely more notes for the beginning than I do the end. And maybe I'll stay on track more. But she has a moment with Danny, too, to imply that there was something there. And I feel like we have to come back to... Remind me to come back to this. Because this, when I realized this colored the movie in a whole different light for me. I think someone smarter than me would have figured this out originally. But I feel like I was so much more focused on Rizzo this time. because I feel like Vanessa Hudgens has a good sweet side of Rizzo. Because, like, what's her name? Stockholm? That's not her name. Stockard. I think it's her last name is C. So I'm just call her the other Rizzo. S-C. Stocky, I'm going to call her. No, I'm going to call her S. The S Rizzo. She had a lot of, like, the bad B energy of Rizzo and the silly goofiness, not taking things seriously Rizzo, but she doesn't have like the deeper I'm just a girl Rizzo, or I don't get to see that as much, but Vanessa Hudgens does. So when we have this like exchange with Rizzo and Danny, he's like kind of acting like he's all big man and over it, and I feel like she just wants to remind him that she exists and she knows the person he really is, and if he's going to act normal, she's going to act normal too. But she's also, I don't know, I just think that she's just so good the way that she conducts herself in this situation. I just think it's so funny because just by acting nonchalant, she's making Danny ashamed and uncomfortable. And I think that's hilarious. How she didn't even need to do anything and he's already shameful and guilty in himself and he's taking it out on her. Anyway, so that was like something that I was looking out for in the rest of the movie is the Danny and Rizzo timeline. So then we meet, I need to talk about this because I gave Rizzo her corresponding astrological Taylor Swift albums. It'll make sense when it comes out. Rizzo is a 1989 sun, a lover moon, and Reputation rising. No, I will not elaborate, but yes, I will. I feel like there's so many people who, I don't know, think they're Reputation sun, but in reality they are a moon and or rising. But I think she is definitely a 1989 sun because I feel like 1989 is all about manic depression, a manic depressive episode. So is Tortured Poets, but in a completely different way. Have you heard the song New Romantics? Tell me it's not Rizzo. Have you heard my God, the more I think about it, the more this is the right choice. This is like 1989 is like the aftermath of the Rizzo-Danny love affair that was implied last year. And I feel like there's this trope so many times where the girl dates the guy, but then it's not actually the guy, but it's the guy's best friend that she really needs to, date. And I kind of love it because Kaneki is seen as like sidekick of Danny Zuko, but the Pink Ladies, I feel like they don't really have leaders and sidekicks. They have diversions. Like I feel like Rizzo and Marty are really good friends, and Frenchie and Jane are really good friends. Is it Jan or Jane? I'm going to say Jane. But there are also some really great Rizzo Frenchie. They're all just really great friends, but naturally they're going to be divisions in the group. But I feel like they do a really job of being an ensemble Pink Ladies, which I really enjoy. But what was I saying? But the T-Birds are seen as like Danny and the rest of them. But I started to think of it more like, I don't know, more the T-Birds are like the Pink Ladies in terms of their group and not just, I feel like the female Pink Ladies characters are more fleshed out than the T-Birds, point blank period. I don't know where I was going with this, but I like the Rizzo with Carlos from Big Time Rush, Kaneki. I feel like it really makes sense to me in this version of Grease. It didn't really, no, because it made sense to me. Oopsie. It made sense to me. No, I'm going to move on because I forgot what was happening. Anyway, so now we meet Sandy and she comes in and she runs in. First of all, she's like, I'm lost. I'm from Utah. It's my first day. Immediately just talking too fast, and then Frenchie makes a witty remark, which is hilarious. She goes, I walked from home because I missed the bus. I just moved. I'm here from Utah. And she goes, that's a long walk. I didn't deliver it right, but it made me cackle. It should not have made me cackle. And it made me realize that Frenchie was the person for Sandy to meet. I feel like she was the only person Sandy could have met and made it as a pink lady. If she met Rizzo would be a bitch to her. Ooh. Okay. If she met Rizzo would be mean to her. If she met, well, I don't really think so. She'd come off as mean, but I think she'd want to be, I don't really know. Anyway, Frenchie was the right person to meet because I feel like she was nice in helping her, but she's also a popular girl. Anyway, I don't need to talk about this. I don't want to talk about it. I'll start talking about it. So there was this moment in the morning announcements that the principal was made that she was in a very nice and sweet, happy tone. She was talking about bomb shelters. And I feel like this was a funny way to address, not necessarily, but I thought it was, well, not necessarily address, but like, anyway, to talk about the 1950s glorification, because I feel like movies like Back to the Future really glorify the 1950s, but in reality, it was a little bit awful to live there when you had to worry about bomb shelters. The words bomb shelter have not crossed my mind since I've last thought about the 1950s. So I thought it was really funny how they mentioned it here. And then they sing the school song, and then at the end, the principal says, "Ooh, that was a nice tight cutoff. Thank you, Reginald." And I thought that was hilarious, and I think I might start saying that. There was an apple pun. I can't remember what it was, but I just really thought that Macintush, she called it, because someone sits on an apple and she goes, "It's a Macintush." And that's why I think that I am Jane, because no one else found that funny. I found that funny. I needed that in the show. Not the show, the movie. Then Summer Night starts. And this is an Aaron to 8 moment, because he ate that stuff. He ate it. It was so good. He was having a full tenor moment. And I feel like John Travolta didn't have the best voice. He had a Danny Zuko voice, which I thought was hilarious. But he hit those notes, but then he also had all the lower notes of Grease Lightning. Keep in mind, he wasn't singing Grease Lightning live. And Aaron was singing Grease Lightning live while doing these motions that make it very hard for you to sing. So he did the best with what he could, but Grease Lightning, so many songs in this show were just so awkwardly low. Like, change the fucking key. Change the key if your singers are having a hard time. I don't understand this "I'm not changing the key" nonsense. I mean, sometimes I feel like in order to like maintain the original effect of the work, it needs to be in the same key. But Grease Lightning is not a fucking, oh my god, it's not a song that we need to be worried about changing the key. Aaron is having trouble here. He's just a little tenor in a John Travolta sized role, okay? Let him have his moments. And he did have his moment in Summer Nights. And I love this song because the way that Danny describes how they get together, so macho man, and then the way that Sandy describes how they got together, first of all, is the truth. I just spat. I don't know if you guys saw that. Is the truth of how they got together, but it's also, I don't know, summer romance, summer fling glorification, and I am here for it. It's giving folklore love triangle. I just absolutely love it because there is something to be said. I guess a 1950s situationship is going to be wildly different than a now situationship because these days it's just freaking awful. But I feel like back in the day, men were inclined to be more loyal. And I said that. Sandy is disappointing. This is the first song where I was like, this Sandy is just not good. She does not have the pipes. But then, right after Summer Loving is when she's auditioning for the cheerleading scene. Now, I don't know if this was added for screen. Obviously, some of this was, but I don't know if this is in the original musical or not. But it was crazy. I loved every second of it. And I feel like this was a good Sandy to cast to emphasize the dancing. The choreography in this live show is freaking phenomenal, especially when we get to the school dance-off part. Just insane. Grease Lightning is another number. And even Curtain Call was phenomenal. So the choreography here is insane. The cheerleading was crazy. There was a part No, that was in the dance-off. But Brie and I are two dancers, and it takes good dancing to make us gasp. When I tell you, she, like, did something where she, like, whacked her leg and, like, upside down and hit her head. We gasped and were giggling for the next 2 minutes. It was insane. Anyway. Oh my goodness. It was at this moment that I realized Rizzo is a mastermind Mercury, because before Sandy's auditioning, she's talking about this guy that she met, and his name is Danny Zuko. And before anyone can say anything, Rizzo's like, well, he sounds like a nice guy. And as she's walking away, Marty's like, why didn't you? And then Rizzo's like, in time, when the time is right. And I just love this, because then during the pep rally, when she introduces Sandy and Zuko, she says the time is right. And I feel like it's a callback to herself and for herself. No one remembers exactly what she said but her and me, because I am Rizzo, she is me. Sometimes. And this is when I realized she's a Mercury, a Midnight's Mercury. Mercury is like your communication, the planet that rules communication, and I'm a Midnight's Mercury. Because I feel like it's mastermind in a way. Midnight Rain is so Rizzo in the way that she communicates with people. Like Danny. I don't know. I don't want to, because I don't really have that much time. I need to eat before I go. Anyway. I can talk about Midnight's Mercury maybe in another video, but, or if someone just wants to call me. I loved the cheerleading uniforms. Okay, so when Rizzo is introducing Sandy and Danny, she knows exactly how this is going to play out. Goes back to the Midnight's Mercury mastermind stuff. Because Midnight's is adjacent to 1989 in a way. I can go on a whole tangent. Anyway. She knows the real Danny, and she knows the Danny that he pretends to be at school. They probably had a secret relationship last year or something like that. And she knows exactly how this conversation is going to play out, where Sandy's going to remember this summer Danny, and Danny's going to have to be school Danny to save face in front of his friends, and Sandy's going to get all pissed off, and Danny's going to act like a dick, and Rizzo knows this is going to happen, so that's why she does it. And she does it less because it's about Sandy and more because it's about Danny, because Rizzo knows that Danny likes this girl, right? So she's going to ruin it for him, and she's going to hurt someone like me out of spite or jealousy. We'll get there later. Because she knows that Danny likes her, she's jealous of her and therefore doesn't like her and is making her life a little bit miserable. So there's that. But then I love the Rizzo-Sandy character growth that happens later in the show. I just hit the thing. Oh my goodness, then we go right into Grease Lightning. And I talked about Grease Lightning. The choreography slays. The song is too low. The choreography really slays now that I think about it. They made good use of the props. They did not need the girls to dance with. I feel like there were some fun partnering moments, but they did not need the girls. This is the man cave. I liked that there's a female shop teacher, because I feel like it kind of implies that she was like a World War II woman worker or whatever. And I just love that. And she slayed. And I feel like it's very funny to have the things that she says come from a woman teacher, like when he's spiking the punch bowl. She's like, I'll cover you. When she tells them to steal parts for their car, she said, just don't steal them off mine. I just thought it was really funny to have these coming from a woman's perspective, and especially a woman who went to work during the war. That's my headcanon, and I will not apologize. That's basically all I had to say about Grease Lightning. Change the key. Get this out of my fucking face. But Carlos slayed. Carlos slayed the low music. He was just wonderful. I don't know if that's his actual name. He's just Carlos from Big Time Rush for me. Then we go to a diner scene where Sandy's on a date. And the Pink Ladies are on one booth. The T-Birds are in another booth. And Rizzo's sitting there playing solitaire. No one sees when you lose when you're playing solitaire. She might be a Midnight Sun. No, she's a 1989 Sun. Point blank period. So just Rizzo playing solitaire is a very Rizzo character trait. So then Jordan Fisher sings this next song where Danny's trying out for the track. And I feel like there's some discourse about Danny not changing his character enough to be with Sandy, because both of them took compromise. I don't feel it as compromise. They were just better versions of themselves when they were with each other. Like, Sandy felt free in, like, a really good and responsible way, especially when she talks about summer nights. And Danny was, like, tied down in a good, responsible way, because he felt like he could be himself and he didn't have to put on this I'm a bad boy persona, which Rizzo puts on, and I feel like they probably bonded because of that. And Rizzo, like, let her guard down around him, and he was still that godforsaking, awful T-Bird mess at school, but he wasn't all the time, because I feel like of the T-Birds, he's the last one to bully someone. I feel like Kaneki maybe last. No, because when Eugene comes in and tells them how to make the grease lightning faster, Danny's the only one to hear him out. He's always the first one to, like, pump up his friends when they're doing something good. Like, at the end of Jordan Fisher's song, there's this whole bit where he's, like, learning how to play guitar, and then he finally shows everyone he can play guitar, and after it, I think this was just an Aaron acting choice, he, like, put his arm around him and was like, oh, you're pretty good. And there was a moment like that earlier where he was hyping up Carlos. He's like the team hype man, so he's not all awful when he's at school, but I feel like we've never met a Danny before Sandy. We can only speculate. The lighting is going to get so much better. Anyway, I don't even know where this was coming from, but Danny did change enough, especially at the end where he comes out in his Letterman's jacket and he explains, well, Letterman's sweater, and he explains to the guys how he needs to change to be with Sandy. Anyway, so he runs for track, and Aaron comes out in this, he comes out in a wife pleaser and some short little basketball men's shorts. This man is cut. You can see it, like, in his grease lightning shirt, but brother is just insane. It's crazy and wonderful and awesome. And I wrote something about Danny not being okay with physical touch, and that might say something about his childhood. I don't know what that's about. The Jordan Fisher song was awful. I'm sorry. I hated it. Then we come back with another awful song, Carly Rae Jepsen. Now, I have been loving Carly Rae Jepsen up to this point. I think she was a great choice. However, has Sandra D happened yet? I can't remember. I have 5 minutes to finish this. Will I? I think I might. I don't know. Carly Rae Jepsen's freaking song is the worst piece of garbage I've ever heard in my gosh darn life. And it's not her fault. She, like, I don't know how much live performing she did before this, but especially in musicals, like, that's, like, a really intense thing to perform. But this song could not have been in the musical because, first of all, it's god-awful. And second of all, it's boring. And so then it, like, Beauty School Dropout, it also kind of fell flat. Boys to Men could have done so much better. I think they might have just been nervous or something because they didn't slay. I don't know. It just wasn't fully there for me. But, like, the Carly Rae Jepsen song was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. Goodbye, crickets. Awful. So then we go into the dance-off. Was there Sandra D here? I can't remember. Did I say anything about Sandra? I guess I had nothing to say about it. I guess I liked the number. I don't know. Whatever. Dance-off. Rizzo's going to the dance with Scorpion Guy to make Kaneki jealous. Kaneki goes with Cha-Cha to make Rizzo jealous. Danny and Sandy go together in a feat of human nature. I don't know what that was. Aaron and what's-her-face dancing together was crazy. Just crazy. In the best way possible. And then Aaron and Cha-Cha, that was crazy. My favorite part is when he decides that he's actually going to go for the dance-off medal with Cha-Cha, and he turns around and he does this freaking newsy walk. Aaron Tveit would have killed Jack Kelly. Did he ever play Jack Kelly? Because I need to see an Aaron Tveit Jack Kelly. Anyway, DNCE was the band at the school. Like, so good. I cannot describe to you how good they were, and Joe Jonas was. Now, I'm not a Joe Jonas apologist, not in the slightest, but he was freaking crazy in this. It was insane. I loved every second of it. And I during this, we're like in the musical, they're, what the freak am I saying? Marty and Vince Fontaine are like doing their little romance thing. And I feel like in a high school production of Grease, Marty and Vince Fontaine would have like a showmance. I feel like, but they wouldn't be like the cringy Danny and Sandy showmance. It's like how in my school we did Shrek the Musical our senior year, and our Donkey and Farquaad dated. Like, that's the kind of vibes it's giving. Because I think it's objectively cooler than having like the two leads become a showmance. Anyway, let's see. Joe Jonas is going crazy. Vanessa Hudgens was going absolutely bananas on the dance floor. And it just goes to show you can take the High School Musical out of the girl. You cannot take the girl out of High School Musical. Wait. You can take the girl out of High School Musical. You cannot take the High School Musical out of the girl. Same thing for Zac Efron. Same thing for, what's that guy who plays Ryan? Food Boy. You can take the High School Musical out of Food... Wait, you can't take the High School Musical out of Food Boy. And I'm getting that tattooed on my forehead next week, coincidentally. Anyway, she was messing it up out there. And her dance partner wasn't as good. I mean, how can you hold a candle to Vanessa freaking Hudgens? And I thank God every day that I didn't get to see her in the Heights, because I feel like I would not be able to think about anything else after I saw that. So... like, for the best that I didn't get to see her in the Heights, because it was at the Kennedy Center, and I heard it was fantastic, because I didn't get to see it. Then Danny Zuko wins the dance-off, as he should, because the dancer Cha-Cha, I would have, if we did Grease, I would want to be Cha-Cha, because it's, like, the smallest cameo role. You get to do the little flag when they're racing the cars. That's basically it. She is me, I am her. Hopelessly Devoted was okay. This is one of the moments when I liked our Sandy, because I liked an acting choice she made when her and Danny with Summer Nights, the little reprise interlude. I liked her acting choice there. Other than that, it was bland, cardboard, boring crickets until Hopelessly Devoted. That was definitely her audition song, because she would not have gotten the role if she had to sing anything else, because it was pretty good. Danny Zuko is Jess Mariano coded. Let me explain. Jess Mariano, I need to get ready for work. Jess Mariano is the guy from Gilmore Girls. Anyway, he's like classic soft bad boy, a Scorpio probably. And like he has like a bad childhood or whatever, and he is just like a really sad person sometimes, but he doesn't know how to handle it. So then he sexually assaults someone. Oopsie poopsie. And I'm not a Danny Zuko apologist. I'm definitely not a Jess Mariano apologist. But I will say, Stranded at the Drive-In fucking slaps. I'm so sorry, Lois. But, like, I just can't, I feel like I can't express myself properly without a curse word here and there. So, comment down below what I should do for every curse word. Count them up and I'll do anything. Anyway... what was I saying? So, like, I feel like Aaron Tveit, when he sings Stranded at the Drive-In, it's very much, I can believe that he actually knows what he did wrong, and he's just singing it as, like, a silly little boy, like, Stranded at the Drive-In, can't believe what I did wrong. Like, it's more like, I did this shit again. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway. And... Hopelessly Devoted is But Daddy I Love Him by Taylor Swift. Everyone go listen to But Daddy I Love Him by Taylor Swift. I think this was me saying But Daddy I Love Him. Like, I love Danny Zuko. but I'm not a Danny Zuko apologist. Do not take my word for it. And then another moment we have of Danny Zuko, but Daddy, I love him. He stands up for Eugene, and he's the one to hear him out about how to make Grease Lightning faster. Just want to hit on that point again. And this is why John Travolta never has any of those moments. That's why I don't believe him. I believe Aaron. I think he made some great acting choices throughout this whole movie, coupled with the Vanessa Hudgens, because I feel like the acting choices that Vanessa Hudgens made gave me an implied, like, a 1 + 1 = 2 version of Danny Zuko, if that makes sense. Anyway, after this little Eugene exchange with Danny Zuko, we see Rizzo again, and she is in a black dress. And I've come to learn that a black dress is a metaphor for a scorned woman. I was watching Spider-Man. I don't know if it's the second one or the third one, but it's the part where Peter's going to propose, but MJ's coming to break up with him, and she's wearing a black dress. And there was a part in the first movie where the Green Goblin's son was talking to MJ and saying, you need to wear the black dress. My dad likes black. You just need to blend in and be bland, and like, so he won't hate you. And the black dress is also like Princess Diana revenge outfit. So it has all these connotations. So now whenever I see a black dress, I am very conscious. And this is after we've all found out that Rizzo is pregnant. She doesn't actually end up being pregnant, but she's walking around school being a martyr. She's the, what's the A? The scorned woman. No. Is it? I don't know. She's Emma Stone in Easy A. And she's wearing a black dress. And it was great because then she gets to sing There Are Worse Things I Could Do in the black dress scorned woman outfit. And Sandy has a nice moment with Rizzo here, but Rizzo brushes her off. But I feel like the ice is starting to melt between the two, because then she sings this song and has a lot of character development and growth in this one song, which I don't think it's development. Yes, it is, but it's more like revealing herself, and then she just decides to be different. All of Me changed like Midnight Rain. Anyway, the thing is, when I make these videos, they don't make complete sense to everyone. The only person it makes complete sense to is me, and I think that's something I really love about it. Anyway, so she has a line, I could hurt someone like me out of spite or jealousy. Remember, I mentioned this earlier. When she was playing with Sandy and Danny and stuff like that. But I feel like this is a moment she decides to be nice to Sandy. And it just shows that she's just like a soft girl at the end of the day. She's a lover moon. She's anxious and she's sad, and she's just wants to be loved because she's never felt loved before, because she's never felt like someone you could love. Anyway, and I feel like Rizzo is so reputation coded. It's not even funny. And she says, but I can feel and I can cry. A fact I'll bet you never knew. She says, I don't steal, I don't lie, but I can feel and I can cry. Like, I'm not an explicitly bad person. I don't do bad things. Well, I do, kind of. But I feel and I cry, and I feel like that's what makes me bad. And I have to cover that up. So I feel like it's easier to pretend like I steal and I lie and I'm a bad girl, instead of I'm anxious and tired and depressed, and I am kind of scared on the regular. And a fact I'll bet you never knew. And she just hides herself from people, and then is pissed off when people don't know her. Anyway, I'm starting to believe I just see what I want to see in these movies. I think I'm going to finish this right on the dot. Basically, Rizzo lives happily ever after with Kaneki, because he has this moment at the end where he says, I want to be there for you. And he looks at her and she goes, no one's ever looked at me before. And we just heard her I Want song. So that's fresh on our minds. And that's why they live happily ever after. And I just love, this is my favorite showmance. This is my favorite couple in the show. Danny and Sandy can literally eat it, because I do not understand Sandy's incentive to change herself to be with Danny. Because time and time again, Danny has proved that he's an idiot and stupid and boring. And then suddenly he's in danger. Oh no, he's going to race at Thunder Road. And then you just can't live without him. And he says, life's not worth living if you don't take a few chances. Girl, what? It's giving like, you know, when you're already self-conscious about something and then someone points it out. So then you are twice as self-conscious and you try to like 180 yourself and be entirely the opposite. That's what it's giving. So she's already self-conscious that she doesn't take enough chances in this life. And stuff like that, based on their conversation at the drive-in, where she reveals that she lied to her parents about going to the National Bandstand, whatever. She's revealing more about herself, that she is taking these chances, but now she's just going 110% into, like, changing who she is. And I feel like Danny does, too, when he shows up at the fair wearing the Letterman's jacket. Anyway, Letterman's sweater, I should say. And I feel like, going back to Rizzo and Kaneki, I feel like they're just two people who understand each other, where they love the Chuck Bass and Blair Waldorf. Chuck Bass and Blair Waldorf. Waldorf. Need I say more? They love playing games with each other, but I also equally love when they drop the game, and I feel like they love it too when they can just be themselves around each other. I just love them. And she says, "Call me by my real name, Betty," and he loves it. And I feel like closing overall with all these acting choices, because I really have to go to work. I feel like I enjoyed this more, because I feel like the characters were more nuanced. I feel like that was because of like the live aspect of it and the filming for TV aspect. They picked great actors, and they picked actors who could like show both sides of the characters, and just really great character development. But they weren't caricatures of the originals, which I loved. I feel like they took them in a completely different direction, and I really enjoyed it. That's all basically I have to say. Not really. I'll probably think of more later and like be hitting myself because I didn't say it now. But I'm pretty wiped out, and I need to change for work anyway. So I think I might just be done. I'm done.